All right, welcome back. So today we are going to be starting chapter 3 in our Big Ideas Blue math book. And in section 3.1, we're going to be talking about angle relationships and what we call transversals. So let's just start out with some key terms here. We have two lines here, or we call it a set of lines. You might notice something about these lines. Well, they appear to be parallel, right? And we know that parallel lines never intersect, right? They go on and on, just like the famous Black Eyed Peas song. But we also see this kind of set right here, these arrows on the lines that are going to tell us that they are parallel, right? This is the symbol that we use to describe that, hey, these two lines, they're not just any ordinary lines. Haha, they're parallel lines. Well, when we have a set of parallel lines like we have here, what we call a transversal is a line that cuts across two or more, usually, parallel lines. And for our intents and purposes, we're going to be talking about how they interact with parallel lines. So this right here is our transversal. Okay, a transversal, again, is a line that cuts across two or more lines. And in our case, these are going to be going across parallel lines. And in this section, we're going to be talking about all the different angle relationships that occur when we have a transversal cutting across a set of parallel lines. So let's explore some lines and angles. If you notice here, I have a set of parallel lines and I have a transversal. I'm going to highlight the transversal again for us. So this is going to be our transversal. We have a set of parallel lines. Let me note that for you, okay? And you see that I have different sets of colors within the angles. We have some orange angles and some blue angles. There's a couple of things that you might notice here. That since these lines are parallel, the angles formed in the top of the picture are the same as the angles formed in the bottom of the picture. And let me illustrate that for you. So if I take this orange angle, since it was in the upper left-hand corner in the top of our diagram, well, that same orange angle is going to be in the upper left part of the bottom diagram. Likewise, this blue angle I can pull out, and it was again in this like upper right hand side. Well, now it's going to be in the upper right hand side here. Likewise, this blue angle was in the bottom left, and it's going to be in the bottom left down here. And we have this orange angle in the bottom right. Well, it's going to be in the bottom right over here. So notice how we have the same exact angle values in the upper part. We have the same up here as we do down here. Right? These are the same. And they're going to have the same values. And we're going to be talking about the way that we can interpret this and how they're related together. But there's another thing that you might notice, that the orange and the blue angles are what we call supplementary. And again, what it means to be supplementary is that they add up to 100 degrees. So let's write that. Add to 180 degrees. Right? So if I took, let's say, one orange angle and the adjacent blue angle, you're going to notice, once I get it set, there you go, that underneath it, it creates a straight line. There we go. And we all know that a line is 180 degrees. So that's why the orange and the blue angles are going to be supplementary. It could be from this angle, again, to this angle, right? That creates a line. It could be this and this. Notice how they still create that line. Okay, so the orange and blue are going to be supplementary. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Let's keep it rolling. So I'm going to ask that you just briefly copy down the diagram, and we are going to fill in some of the values here. So we have what are called vertical angles. Okay, and vertical angles look like this, where they're opposite of one another. So notice how these orange angles are vertical angles? Well, if you look at it, they're both orange and they're the same color, right? Which means that vertical angles are going to be congruent. Likewise, we have the same thing. Let's say if I move it down here, I have that blue one and I have this blue one. Oh, I missed it. Whoop. There we go. So notice how the orange are the same and they're opposite of one another. They're across from each other. Likewise are the blue. Those are what are called vertical angles, and those are going to be congruent. Over on the right-hand side, it says angles that form a linear pair. Well, let's think about what it means to be a linear pair. Well, I see a linear, and I know that that's a line, and a pair means two. Right? So I'm going to have two angles, well, that make a line. So if I were to take, I don't know, let's say this orange angle, well, I need a second that's going to create a line. So I can take this blue one. Notice how it falls right on that line. Not perfectly because of, human error. But notice that they're supplementary. Okay, they're going to add up to 180 degrees. I didn't have to take that blue line or that orange. Let's say I took this orange down here. And I wanted to use, I don't know, this blue one right here. These are also supplementary, right? They're a linear pair. They're two angles that create a line. So let's just write that. Two angles that create, oh no, I'm out of room, a line. Smiley face, of course. Okay, awesome job, folks. Let's keep it going. So we now have what are called corresponding angles. And when we think about corresponding, well, that means that they're similar, right? In the similar area. So if I have, let's say, this orange angle, notice how it's in the upper left-hand corner of this diagram. In this intersection here, it's in the upper left. Well, that means that, oh, nope, come on. It means that this is going to be the corresponding angle because it's also in the upper left in this diagram, right? So they're going to be in the same general location. And notice that they're both orange. So if they're both orange, they're congruent. Likewise, if I had, I don't know, let's say this blue piece right here. Well, I want to have a corresponding angle to that, so I need to find its general location in this intersection. It's in the bottom left. So I need to place my next angle right here, because that's also going to be in the bottom left. Boom. So corresponding angles are going to be congruent. Let's keep it going. So we have what's called interior angles. And let's think about what it means to be interior. Well, interior means inside, right? So interior angles, I'm just going to write inside. So if I were to break up this diagram of our lines in transversal, I'm just going to highlight real quick my parallel lines. Well, if we're talking about interior angles or the inside angles, well, the interior is going to be this whole section in here. This is the interior of it. That's the interior. Let me just highlight that real quick. So that's the interior. So we have this key phrase, alternate interior angles. So alternate means opposite. So I'm just going to write opposite, or OPP. So the opposite interior angles. So for example, if I have this angle right here, notice how it's in that blue section, it's in the interior, right? But I want to find the opposite interior. So what I need to do is look inside our parallel lines and look for the opposite part that's going to also be congruent. So what shape would give me congruency? Oh, this one would. Notice how this is going to be opposite interior or alternate interior, but that was just with the orange. I could also do it with the blue. The blue would go there, and its opposite interior or alternate interior would be right in there. Notice how these four angles are all inside my parallel lines. Well, over on the right-hand side, we're looking for same side interior angles. So it's going to be on the same side of the transversal. So if I highlight the transversal for us real quick, we need angles that are going to be on the same side together, but also inside the parallel lines. So if I start out, let's say, with this orange angle, that's within my green parallel lines, and it's on the left-hand side of my yellow transversal. So now I need the other angle that's within these two green parallel lines and still on the left-hand side of our yellow transversal, and that's this one here. These two are same side interior angles, and notice that they're different colors, and before we said the orange and the blue are supplementary. So same side interior angles are going to be supplementary. Now, I didn't need to choose those two specifically. I could also have chosen this orange angle and this blue angle. Right? These are both still same side of the transversal. They're on the right-hand side, and they're both on the interior. All right. Let's keep it up. We're doing so well with this. We also have exterior angles. So again, if I highlight our parallel lines, we're looking for the exterior. So the exterior is going to be out here. It's going to be on the outside of my parallel lines, right? Exterior decorating is like the outside of a house. So we're looking for the exterior. So we have alternate exterior, same side, exterior. So let's drag some things there, and let's create some rules. So the alternate exterior angle, if I start out, oh, nope, not what I want, whoopsie. If I start out with this orange angle here, I need the alternate exterior. So I need on the opposite side of my transversal, but also on the exterior. So that's going to be this angle here, right? Notice how, in regards to transversal, in the bottom, I'm on the right-hand side, and on the top, I'm on the left-hand side. They're alternate sides. And then we also could have used the blue ones too. Well, this is on the upper right outside. Well, this is going to be on the bottom left outside, right? So we're noticing that alternate exterior angles are going to be also congruent. And if we have the same side exterior angles, well, let's start out. Let's pick this orange angle. Well, I need the same side of my transversal. This orange on the left-hand side of my transversal. So I need to choose another angle that's on the left-hand side of my transversal, but also outside my parallel lines. And there you go. We notice that these are going to be supplementary. Awesome. Now let's just start out and compile everything together. So please pause the video, copy down the diagram, and be ready to move on together. So if I know that angle 1 is 85 degrees, I can use this to help me determine a lot of other angles. Well, angle 1 and angle 5 are going to be corresponding. Angle 1 and angle 3 are vertical. And if I go down to angle 5, I can see that angle 7 is vertical of angle 5. So all these are going to be 85 degrees. But now I need to figure out 4, 2, 8, and 6, my even angles in this diagram. So if I know that angle 1 and angle 4, let me highlight real quick, are going to be supplementary, well, they have to add up to 180 degrees. So if I do 180 minus 85, I get 95. Likewise, 4 and 8 are corresponding, 4 and 2 are vertical, and 8 and 6 are vertical together. So all of these are going to be 95, and that's just from knowing angle 1 is 85 degrees. Great job, folks.